Now, he had shown me some other verses. He showed me the one that says, "For all have sinned and fall short of the glory of God." And I believe that without any problem. Now he was showing me my part in salvation. And I had to make a decision. Did I believe that part? Well, he left that night. I don't think he got to eat much dinner. But when he left, I sat and thought and I prayed and I decided I did believe what he told me. That, yes, the Bible, if it's true, does say that all I have to do is trust. And I talked to him about the fact that that seemed so easy. There had to be more to it. And he said, well, it wasn't easy for Jesus. And that's right. So I prayed that night. I confessed my need to humble myself before God and ask Him to do the work in my life of cleaning up my heart and turning me into that new creature that these two girls always talked about and I didn't understand, to my church. Instead, I went to the Bible church where my friend and her husband, who had us in the Bible study, attended. And they rejoiced to see us there. Shortly after that, I got in another Bible study. My life really didn't change too dramatically. I was always what I would call a pretty good person, but I learned more about what goodness really meant. I learned what the works were that God really wanted us to do, and that was to love Him wholeheartedly, to trust Him, to love my neighbor as myself. I learned how to read the Bible and have a quiet time. I learned how to pray more than just memorized rote prayers. 10 years went by, and I had my first major trial. My husband left, and the divorce was not fun. It was unexpected, and I was devastated. After about 6 months of feeling sorry for myself and having pity parties, a friend really confronted me and said, well, you've been talking all this time about loving Jesus and He loves you, and you're not living like you really believe that. You're not living like you really believe He's in control even of this situation and that He can get you through it. So what's it going to be? And I had to face the facts that she was right, that I had talked the talk, and I really needed to start walking the walk. And I did. I crawled out of my hole and started being a better mother to my kids and being what they needed, and started really putting my trust in God. I started smiling again and laughing again, and life was okay. And He did pull me through the tough times. About 3 years later, I had another trial. I was diagnosed with breast cancer. And for some reason, God just allowed me to handle that without any problems. Now, I'd spent my life being pretty negative and a worrier, but once I saw how God got me through the divorce and the emotional pain, I really didn't have any doubt that He could get me through this physical problem. And He came through, and I did just great. 9.5 years later, I had just been remarried for just a few months, and my cancer came back. And this time, the news was really devastating. It was now in my lungs and in my bones, and the doctor gave me 18 months to live. Well, it's 2008. It's November. So obviously I've lived a lot longer than those 18 months. And it's been tough. It's been real tough. I've had some times of tears, but I've just been fantastically amazed at the strength God's given me. It's not me. It's got to be Him. Because like I said, I've always been kind of negative and kind of a wimp, really. Afraid of doctors and seeing the glass half full. Half empty instead of half full. And I don't know. I'm not sure how to explain it, but I've been able to sleep at night and eat and go on about my business and just enjoy life. I've certainly spent a lot of time with my family and relished that. I decided to go to Europe because that's something I always wanted to do, and I've been there 3 times now. I've had lots of fun adventures, driving in race cars, and I really wanted to skydive, but my doctor wouldn't let me. But I've tried to make the most out of every day. And part of every day, most of the time, I have to confess, I'm not perfect, I have spent time with my Savior. I can't tell you how much it means to be able to read those words of comfort in the Bible, that He'll never leave me or forsake me, and that nothing is impossible with Him, that He won't give me anything that I can't handle. And it's those truths that have allowed me to love my life, no matter what's happened in it. Things have gotten worse. The news isn't always good lately. I'm not so sure how much longer I'm going to be here. And that's why I decided I really wanted to make this video. I really want to encourage you to take that step of faith and trust Jesus to be your personal Savior. He'll get you through all the tough times, and He'll take you to heaven with Him when your time on earth is done. It's more than just fire insurance. It's life insurance when you put your hand in His hand and put your life under His watchful care. So I encourage you, if you haven't done that, please think about it. And then someday, kind of like Mr. Rogers says, maybe I should say, someday, won't you be my neighbor? I'd love to see you in heaven.